All right, welcome to another episode of Mundelein Minute. We're a couple of days late recording this and getting this
You were
out.
busy this week.
Yeah, I've been busy. I changing roles and
Life,
busy.
bro.
So we're talking about the village board meeting from Monday, January 23rd. And before we get started, my name is Eric Schwenk. I'm a trustee in the Village of Mundelein. Who are you?
This is Isabella.
This is Isabella. Yep.
I'm Kara Lambert. I'm also a trustee in the Village of Mundelein.
Yep. And this is, geez, Kitty. This is my house and my cat.
Yep.
And there's a couple more cats and a bird and some kids and a wife and everything else that's going on in a house. So if there's background noise,
Sorry.
welcome. So yeah, let's get started. We kicked off a couple of minutes late because we had a presentation about the high school's
Referendum. Yep.
So we're not going to get into that on this episode of the podcast. We may discuss it in the future.
We should just say one thing, that there are town halls that are going on. Do you have the dates of those?
I don't have them in front of me.
We're the worst.
There's upcoming ones while she pulls that up. And I also just want to say, if we do an episode about the high school, we're not for or against publicly as trustees. We get to have our voice outside of it, but we also are cautious that this is a referendum that the voters get to decide, much like us in the upcoming election. And
The next
want them
MHS
to make
open
that.
house is February 8th
Yep.
at 6:30 p.m. They also have one in March that I'm not sure of the date. They have two more others, but the February 8th one is the next one.
Perfect.
District
Perfect.
120 website. There you
D120.org. Check them out.
There you go. Moving
All
on.
right. So moving on, we did the attendance, the Pledge of Allegiance, the minutes, and then we moved into public commentary. There was a couple of people that spoke. I've got a couple of notes here, and the first was Terry Voss, who is a former trustee, and she is the individual that filed the objections on a couple of individuals that are running for office. So we talked about that in a previous episode. So if that name sounds familiar, that's why. So Terry started off talking about how she's been a resident of Mundelein for 32 years. She's served her community in multiple different capacities over the years, and then she gave us some allegations, if you will,
Or information. I don't know.
information. Yeah. So she has these backed up. She said that they're cited and signed
Sourced.
affidavits and sourced allegations talking about Trustee Kirsten Russell and his business practices.
Yeah.
And that he owes outstanding money to businesses in town, individuals in town, owes $320,000 in rental debt for his business, didn't return equipment that his business had rented. And the last one that she hit on was that the business owes money to the Village of Mundelein for water.
bill. Mm-hmm.
And she cited a law. I didn't get to write it down fast enough, but she did cite a law that says that if you owe your municipality money, that you can't serve as a municipal officer
Right.
After 30 days, that you have to make good on that debt.
Or resign.
Or resign.
Right.
Right. So what stood out to me is very odd about this entire situation. And I'll step back and say that Terry Voss did have a conversation with, I don't know if she had one with Kirsten or not, but I guess so, because she did say that, saying that he would sue her.
Oh,
if
right.
she,
Yeah.
For defamation of character, which
Right.
I will also say, the threshold for defamation of character for a public official is like ridiculously high. So, okay.
Right.
But that being aside, the mayor knew about this and Kirsten Russell knew about this. And then it came to the village board and Terry Voss spoke in public commentary, and the village attorney was already prepared, had documents in front of her,
Had the law in front of her.
had the law in
Yeah,
front of her to read off of. I just found that very odd that this entire public commentary for, Terry.
Had a legal response already
Correct.
generated, I guess, if you will.
Correct.
I don't know if that's the right word.
So that just really stood out to me and kind of bothered me. And it also came out during Kirsten Russell's objection hearing that he uses the same law firm that the village uses.
Right.
There's a printer right over here. So,
Something's being printed.
like we talked about in the house,
Yeah.
Noise. Welcome. So it just kind of was odd to me that was already generated, that it was present. And I don't know if it came out of the mayor's conversation with the attorney prior to the meeting, or perhaps Kirsten called his attorney and they share with the village.
Which
To
is
me,
weird.
that seems very improper.
Ultimately, the lawyer did say that, Kirsten is protected by his corporation and it's not him as an individual.
And that's the reason that you incorporate, is
Right.
to protect yourself.
So it's not him as an individual. It's the corporation that would be at fault for all these debts, which is the only thing that he did that was illegal, was not resigning from the board for the water bill. Right?
Right. That he's not personally...
Right, because he's not personally accountable for it.
Correct.
The corporation is.
And that's why the clerk never cited him.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Right. So... and the corporation has since been dissolved or declared bankrupt, varying degrees of
Depends
stories.
on who you ask.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't think have ever seen anything like that, or was prepared for that, or like what to do, or what our role is in it.
Correct. And I mean, sure, we're trustees. We could ask questions at any time. I didn't know which direction to go to ask the questions, and that's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And the next person that spoke was another former trustee, Dawn Abernathy, who brought forth some of her knowledge about multiple people that Trustee Russell owes money to, and brought up the fact that I guess he made people sign NDAs before.
Yeah.
Something. I'm not sure.
Just business practices. I don't know that it has any capacity on anything else other than like how he ran his business.
Right. So that was our public commentary. Those two individuals. There was some discussion about the 5-minute time frame and whether people could rebut what was being said.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just going to put it out there.
I hate that rule.
Public commentary policy is the stupidest
Oh
thing
my gosh.
that has passed. This whole limited government thing.
Ugh.
I could go on and on and on about this, but we shouldn't be making rules that take people's speech away. And in case you were wondering, the fine for disrupting a village board meeting is in our code, and that fine is $10. And I have just thought in my mind,
wouldn't it be fun to just disrupt?
I have just thought in my mind, if I'm ever in that position, I'm just going to leave the $10 on the counter and be like, you know what?
We'll
Peace
pay
out.
the $10.
Yeah, I'd rather pay bulk rate talking than
Right.
just talk for however long you want.
Exactly.
So
then we started the meeting.
So then we actually got into the actual meat of the meeting, and then we left the meeting shortly after. So the meat of the meeting was the committee of the whole State of the Village meeting is coming up on February 13th at 6 p.m. And the mayor's hour-long presentation year after year literally is an hour in it, and he fills every hour or every
like
minute.
to the minute.
Yeah, to the minute. So there's a lot of good information that comes out of it. I will say that. And then we appointed Linda Miller as our new director of finance and our treasurer. Yep. And she has been filling in as a
Interim since
interim.
October?
Yeah,
August,
for
October?
a few months, and she accepted that promotion, and we're happy to have her. So then we went into the liquor commission.
I'm gonna be so annoyed.
Go on.
So we recessed into that, and before we even got to who was before us,
Before we had court, Kara held court.
Kara just ranted. So part of it was because we saw the same names for, depending on how you view this, the second or third time. So Jewel and Graham's was in front of us again, and we've seen these two particular ones twice, but we've also seen their other location as well, which to me, like, it's all the same. You have the same system, you have the same training, it's all the same. So it made me mad. It really irritated me, and I just am like so frustrated that you guys, they're multi-million-dollar corporations, and you don't have a way to like put technology around this so you don't do it. Oh my God, it was really annoying. So Eric, create a gif of me ranting about it, but it was really frustrating. I just don't want to be known as like the place to go where kids buy booze. That's so annoying. It's so trashy. It's so just like uncalled for.
You pointed out during your
my rant
oration
My oration.
that there's several of us on the board that have small kids, and that some of us have larger kids that are in high school.
I'd be pissed if my kids were in high school right now. Like,
yeah.
Geez.
And that actually came up later when the manager for Jewel was up there and talking about this. And I told him that I found out from his testimony, if you will, that it was a minor being somebody under 21 in this circumstance, a
Yeah.
minor that sold alcohol to somebody also under 21.
It's so
And that their cash register technology has an override button, so they don't even have to put in the date of birth or scan an ID or any of this. And
why does that exist?
and the cashier didn't even look at the ID to begin
Like,
with.
ugh.
But the fact that they don't have the technology in place to stop people from bypassing it blows my mind. And I explained to him, and I got really like I was going to lose it, because my son is a minor under 21.
Yeah.
He's actually under 18, and he works at Jewel, and he has people come to his lane that want to buy alcohol. And I really hope that he's not ever pushing that button, and to know that Jewel is setting him up to fail by giving him that opportunity to push a button.
And then if he did, he would get ticketed for it, and he would get in trouble.
And that's what I told the guy. I would have to be driving my son to court,
Yeah.
because Jewel sets him up for failure.
Ugh,
Right.
it was real
And
frustrating.
so him and I actually had a discussion after the meeting that night, my son and I, about the importance of not bypassing, that it is the law, that all of this happens, and
Right. And there's consequences.
that there is. Now, the flip side, Graham.
Yes.
Graham has been before us, and I wish they would have used the technology that they had in place much faster. And
But why didn't they?
I can't explain it.
More annoyed.
But the gentleman at least says that every time he comes, he's learning more and more about this process and instituting new policies and technologies. Okay. As I said during the meeting, I hope to not see him for a long, long time.
Seriously.
Nice guy. Don't
So
want to see
nice.
you here.
So nice.
Yeah.
Don't want to see you here.
The last one, I think, was a
Totally.
explainable
And
liquor
also stood out,
violation.
like, from the other
Yeah,
two.
absolutely. And it was Momo Sushi.
No,
No,
it was
not
Osaka.
Momo. Osaka. Thank you. And the server just served,
Got overwhelmed and was busy and just like, that was a whoops.
served you
However,
at the
I
table.
will say, like,
and
why is anyone still accepting vertical IDs?
yeah,
Oh my God.
I know.
I'm too pregnant to like have my blood pressure rise this much and get this heated. So
Yeah, no having babies in the basement, please. Thank you. So that was it. We find them and sent them on their way. But then
But then
we had a discussion about raising the fines. And
finally,
this has been something that we've been talking about for quite some time.
you and I just being annoyed by it.
And we've also been annoying the village administrator and the mayor to kind of see where this goes. And, the speed of government is slow. We don't make fast decisions
No,
about
but I
much
think-
of anything.
I
We
think-
could have on this one, but we didn't. And we finally, I think the board got beaten down enough that,
There were certain members on the board that didn't want to raise it because it would hurt business. Man, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna put my kid before your business. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Every day of the week.
the kids of Mundelein.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. So we're doubling our fines for the first and second offense.
And I really hope that when our attorney negotiates these plea deals, he really takes into mind what you and I both commented about, treating like separate locations but the same business as one. I really hope
the
I really
board
hope
seemed
that.
to have consensus of that. That
really hope that that's
sure, the Grahams out there that have different LLCs or different corporations to mitigate their risk as a business.
Right.
I understand it. I get it. But if you're operating as Graham and the community knows you as Graham and you have 3 legal entities that are doing
Right.
business as Graham, we're going to treat you as
I really
one.
hope that that's done.
Same with Jewel and same with McDonald's that doesn't sell alcohol. And that's the only other ones off the top of my head that I can think of that have multiples in the village. But we don't know what the future holds.
Exactly. Anyways, okay.
Yeah. All right.
End of
Moving
rant.
on. Moving on. So we went into the trustee reports, and this is where the meeting sped up
Yes.
a lot faster. We can
Less ranting.
some of the stuff when we sit down and we know the packet before the meeting.
And you can ask questions and you can,
Yeah. So things like a preliminary and final plat of subdivision, some of this we can just breeze right through. So Station 250 came to us for a preliminary and final plat. And
that is
that's-
apartments in Plaza Circle.
Yep. Yeah. Right next to Village Hall. Something that we'd already talked to them about, discussed. We knew this was coming. Moved
Yes.
right through. Towns of Oak Creek. This is the final ordinance for a special service
There is
area
so
number
much
5.
work that needs to be done to get an SSA done.
Yeah.
Lord.
So I think this was our 5th or 6th time having an item of this topic come in front of us.
And an SSA is just a special tax that's
A special
assessed.
service area.
assessed.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
SSA is that. It's if the HOA were to ever become defunct, there's funds sitting there to
That the village can activate the
Right.
SSA to recoup funds to
For
maintain
maintenance.
the areas that the HOA would normally maintain.
Yep.
So that's done now for Towns of Oak Creek. Morris Station redevelopment agreement. So we did an amendment there for Morris Station. 32 South Windsor Place. This was the variation we talked about last time for
Yes.
their absolutely gorgeous facility in the back of their house that
Right.
they bought. They now have that ordinance granting the variation. Under Public Works was GIS Consortium membership, which is crazy expensive, but very, very,
very
useful
useful. They use it all
technology.
the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and not just the public works side of it. It's also the planning side, the administration
Yeah.
side. There's so much that goes into the different layers that technology just builds upon a map. Kind of blows my mind. Watershed Development Ordinance and Community Recertification. All right. You ready?
Where are you going?
So this is the short version of this is there's the Lake County Stormwater Management Commission.
Right.
And you either have to go in front of them or you get certified as a community that can handle it yourself.
Got it.
We are now that community recertified to do it ourselves. Saves a process from having to go to the county. Great for development. NIMEC electricity bid, saving money.
Creating efficiencies.
That's right, creating efficiencies. An intergovernmental agreement for Long Meadow Path snow removal services.
Creating efficiencies.
Creating efficiencies.
Intergovernments working together. Saving taxpayers dollars.
Thank you, Trustee Wilson.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey.
And
Hey,
he loves this stuff. And
I
he's
mean,
rightfully
we
so.
all should love it, right? Like
Yeah, we
condensing
should.
government. Illinois is notorious for lots of branches of
Oh
lots
my
of
gosh.
pieces of government. So if we can work together, it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Energy efficient projects. So these are the LED streetlights. Again, replacing things as they become needed to be replaced, but also
expanding on the program as well. This program has been going on for quite a long time. And
yeah,
we
this
just
is
kinda,
something the last board started.
Yeah, we kind of throw money at it as we can. And
Yeah.
they look better. They create better lighting. They're more efficient.
They last. The bulbs last longer.
It's just a better.
You're not having to replace items. They just
Yeah.
they're in place and they work.
Yeah.
It's what you want out of your
Yes.
infrastructure. Finance
But it's
committee
incredibly expensive to do it all at once.
to do it all at once
Would be
yeah,
insane.
It'd
So
be
that's why we
ridiculous.
bite
But
off
we're also
pieces.
getting pricing from years ago.
Also good.
Yeah. Finance committee. So $502,346.50 was our magic number, and much lower than normal.
Yeah.
So there we go. Public safety committee was the mutual aid box alarm system, MABUS. So this is the master agreement that we have to keep up to date.
So it's basically allowing us to respond to other villages when they need us, and vice versa.
Yes.
So if there's big calls, then we all can agree to work
yeah.
together.
So we actually had one just down the street from my house.
Yes, you did.
And there was 22 or 23 firefighters out there with 5 different fire trucks from different municipalities. This is the agreement that makes it possible for those responses.
Also, there was a big fire in Winthrop Harbor, and they reached out as far as like Wakanda going there. I saw the Wakanda water tanker truck because
Yeah.
they didn't have fire hydrants in
Or if you remember years ago, there was the facility that exploded
in Rockford, and we responded.
Rockford or in Waukegan.
Oh, true, yeah.
And there was even the city of Chicago was responding to that.
Yeah.
So it's these kind of alarm systems that create that agreement in place that when you need help shows up.
But it's agreements like this where you guys work together, where you don't need not every village has a ladder truck, and not everyone maybe needs it.
I don't want to talk about ladder
So,
trucks.
You want to talk about ladder trucks?
Nope.
Come on.
Nope. I'm still bitter about that. So, mending traffic regulations on Prairie and Orchard. We can just skip right over
No!
that.
Okay.
Everybody just lost their hearing and their
My
earbuds.
This is a stop sign at Prairie and Orchard, which is near Washington School.
Mhm.
The goal of this is to hopefully ease some traffic issues that are going on there in the mornings. People cutting in the pickup line, just like kind of creating a dangerous situation. This is an attempt. I was all over John Monahan about trying to figure out what to do over there, and all over Eric Gunther about this when he was police chief. So this has been going on for a long time. It's a tough area.
Oh, for like 2 hours a day, well, even less, 2 30-minute time blocks
Yes.
every day. And it's just
It's
a
hard,
nightmare.
and it's a nightmare because the school isn't constructed, that there's no like roundabout street
Yep.
that goes around it or anything like that. Kids aren't taking the bus as much. We know that to be true. Parents are stressed because Washington and Mechanics Grove have crazy drop-off times. It's a nightmare. So hopefully this helps. If not, I don't know what to do. I don't know. We'll
Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board.
That's it.
So.
And then the blood drive's coming up on the 18th of next month.
And Coffee with a Cop is soon.
Yep. And some numbers that I wrote down while you look that up. Some numbers I wrote down about the old number 1 fire truck. So this last year, the committee. Thank you. Attended 23 events. They're estimating 20,000 impressions of the fire truck, which is 98 years old. The engine is 98 years old, and this last year had no breakdowns while out and
That's so
about
cool.
in the town, which is amazing.
And it's like fun to see.
Yeah, I love old fire trucks.
Coffee with a Cop is February 17th at the Starbucks on 83.
Awesome. So nothing under building committee or transportation, infrastructure, no other reports. Under the omnibus vote item, we issued some checks, some payments under the big program. And we'd already talked about those components for industry and Bill's Pizza and Pub. And that was
it.
That was it. There was no reports from anybody else. And we went into executive session.
For land acquisition and personnel.
And minutes. Yep.
Always minutes.
And that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, it was a long night, only because of the liquor control meeting. Everything else kind of breezed right through.
And my ranting. Sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah. No, it's a worthy topic that requires that attention.
Annoying. So we'll be back on the 13th, right after the 13th, to discuss the state of the village.
Yeah.
Cool.
Unless something comes up sooner,
Oh, stop it.
Maybe we'll be here.
All right, that's it. So we got.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.